Well, howdy, gang. Dean Hankey here. Dino in Reno, the Dean of Success, your VIP charismatic marketing magician and people pro. And I am super jacked up and excited to be having our guest here today. And he is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him, you love him, some more than others. He is my brother from another mother, Dr. Shark in the house.
Oh, many with no love at all, but that was a good intro.
So, hey, for those uninitiated, literally living under a rock or whatever, and don't know the acclaim that is Shark, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
So I'm a marketer, strategist, a keynote speaker, a shark diver, and as I call myself on my podcast, the Chief Shark Officer. I think the world's first Chief Shark Officer, for a lovely title, but I mainly make a living in as a strategist and as a keynote speaker.
Right. And you have a podcast, which I was just delighted.
I have two.
Literally honored. You have two podcasts, and I'm up to date on all of them. Been a loyal and faithful fan for quite a while. I actually had to catch up.
Oh, you're the one.
I'm the one. I'm it. That's me. Tag. And so tell us about a shark's perspective, and then tell us about CX Engine and why. Let's give some value here. Why is podcasting an awesome and amazing potential strategy for you as a business leader?
So a shark's perspective is a podcast that started almost 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up to well over 350 episodes now. I at one time was doing even 3 to 4 episodes a week. I probably am at best doing one a week with depending on travel now. But I try to consistently put out at least one a week. That one is really focused towards everything marketing, sales, advertising, customer experience, business growth. And then I have another one that I started with the brilliant Brooke Sellis, who's become a good friend of mine. And we talk mostly about customer experience as a whole. That one is called the CX Engine Show. And we're doing that one bi-weekly. We've done 2 episodes so far. It's been a lot of fun. It's plays a little bit more on YouTube as well, to also live as a podcast. But I started a shark's perspective, shark being my nickname because I've been diving with sharks for well over 4 decades, both free diving and scuba diving. Is I had been on live radio and live TV for several years back when I was skinnier and much more handsome than I've ended up now. But I took a break from that. And then when I got back into it, I just needed some sort of media outlet. And I talked to the TV and radios again about doing something else. And I just wanted to be able to tell my own story in my own way. Not, the sponsors have been fantastic. I've worked with some amazing sponsors, but it's a lot different when you're sponsored all the time, like for a radio show or something like that. It's not what sponsors also drive a lot of the content, especially on radio today. Mm-hmm. So podcasting is a very powerful narrative. You get to shape your story, your narrative. It can be the way you look at the world. I do a lot on marketing, but also do a lot on leadership and customer experience and all the things, but it's, more of my take on the world. And so with everybody that I speak with, I try to add in my 3 takeaways at the end of the show as well, that really kind of talk about how I view what they talked about, what their book was about, what they speak about, and I luckily have a pretty broad background, so I can tie into a lot of things that I talk about because I've driven a lot of money in ad campaigns. I've spoken for years. I've, helped drive a better customer experience, all these kind of things. So to try to help businesses grow, that's where I get to spend a lot of time helping shape that narrative with some amazing brands, with some amazing people like you, with some amazing, marketing nerds in the world who spend way too much time like you and I do on thinking about stuff like this.
Exactly. And listen, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of channels, a lot of challenges as well in marketing your business. If you were to suggest perhaps like now it's never easy as the question. There's no one single channel. There's no one single opportunity. There's no one single, but as a quick start, kickstart for people who maybe don't have years of marketing history and background, and where would you tell them to begin, at least get started, like today kind of thing?
So oddly enough, from a timing standpoint, we talked earlier today. I had
Yeah.
just gotten back from a training, coaching, consulting type event, working with a small, medium-sized business owner,
Yeah.
and I've spoken to those groups a lot. And what I absolutely love about working with brands like that is that it allows you to help them create clarity. Once you get clarity on what it is you want to do, what your business is, and everything else, it is so easy to push and create leads. And I'm not talking sales funnel, but to be able to go out into the world, either with paid media spend, with content marketing, with your email, with social media, the more focus you have. And this is where a lot of businesses, look, and not everybody's been succeeding. There's been a lot of small, medium-sized businesses that really been struggling. All the large businesses letting people go left and right, but a lot of those companies are too big to succeed anyway.
Yeah.
But the small companies where you can, and I say small to medium-sized businesses, the more clarity they get in their business with real focus, it's hard to help them grow, because it's really putting accelerant on what a great idea is as defined.
Right.
The one of the worst things that any speaker can do, any brand can do, is try to be everything for everyone.
Right.
And while vanilla is still the highest selling ice cream flavor, it doesn't often work to be vanilla, generic, and try to sell to everybody.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you have to be too niched, but you got to be able to go to market with some distinct clarity. The rest of the stuff works out. The stuff that I do with Google Analytics, or creating Facebook ads or Instagram ads or something like that's easy stuff most of the time. But really helping somebody sort of shape a clear and concise narrative makes so much. There's so many choices in today's world for almost any product or service anymore.
Yep.
The clearer you are with your customer base or consumer base that's listening to you, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course
Was that clear? Because I've talked about clarity.
That was clear. That was clear.
It was very muddy. So
that was clear. That was clear. I mean, look, a real world example, and I hate to use this example, but it seems to, like, the local diner and McDonald's. The local diner probably has a far superior product, but McDonald's has been super stunningly stay in their lane, clear with what it is they do. You know what you're getting worldwide from McDonald's. And so our job is to, in part, do those kinds of things as well. I mean, what is an example that you can give of what's good, what to do, what not to do?
Well, it also helps. I think McDonald's is the largest commercial real estate holder in the world, and so they do have a heavier footprint than the average diner. So that helps with a lot of their marketing. But whenever you're thinking about something like clarity, from clarity, it allows you to be distinct, and they really kind of play together with each other.
Absolutely.
But if you're trying to find that unique, I kind of call it the hammerhead effect. The more unique and different you are, if you're not marketing that clearly, it doesn't become memorable. So there's a lot more nuance to it, but being clear in your message to the world with whatever that distinctive product, service, or experience that you deliver can make a real difference. So I hope that answered that.
It did, of course. I mean, look, a real world example is you are shark, and even your metaphors is sharkish. And the hammerhead example. I am the dean of success. School is always in for the lifetime learner, and the VIP charismatic marketing magician. And so everything I do is, has there's magic in your marketing, and so on and so forth. And that doesn't make me better. It just makes it really clear and easy to consume, because people know what they're getting. They're not getting, like why CX engine, why, a shark's perspective, as opposed to just another podcast brought to you by Kenneth, Kinney,
Yeah. Well, one other though, and I just thought of it as you were talking, that I'll add, and I think this is for anybody, um, especially small, medium-sized businesses
Sure.
understand this, but I think all marketers need to understand. Like, I really enjoyed the episode we recorded, episode 357 of A Shark's Perspective, because we talked about service and really sort of service over self. And I think a lot of people, especially marketers, a lot of salespeople, because I think I probably became more forgetful when I put on my sales and marketing hat too in my career. But sometimes people forget too much about serving the customer.
That's right.
I saw a graphic just recently where there was a sales process that was listed out, and in the center they had a picture of the customer. And I've seen something similar in 10 different companies. Just saying you put the customer in the center versus actually serving them with what it is they need is so so much different than it really should be in the world. I wish there was more service to the customers that they have than we have. But I think a lot of times that a lot of marketers forget that we need to serve an audience to earn their trust and get them to open their wallets.
Yeah, we had that conversation on your podcast, and I appreciate that you selected that as the foregoing title, or the idea. When did be nice, do good become a marketing strategy?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way you breathe. It's how you wake up in the morning. It's how you go to bed at night. It's just like, listen, be others oriented. This is not just a thing you do. It's who you are and how you demonstrate. And believe us, like a shark smelling blood in the water, your audience can sniff it miles away. Now that may be actually do they really smell the blood, or do they?
Yeah, there. So there's depending on which episode of Shark Week you watch and who's demything that. Yes, they do smell blood to some degree, but it's not like your hunting dog.
Right.
So they pick up more splashes in the water than they do blood.
Yeah.
So I mean, if a fish splashes in panic, or you do, because somebody can't swim, that they're going to much more likely pick up on that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it was a good metaphor.
Yeah, I've cut my hands on coral, especially on winter dives. I just did it about 3 weeks ago, and there were sharks around, and they weren't running up left to right. I wasn't profusely bleeding either, but it's if I'd been splashing in panic, that would have drawn a lot more attention than one drop of blood.
Right. So give us a metaphoric analogy using your experience of diving with sharks and as a good business practice. So how do you approach? How do you not approach? Whatever, I don't care what metaphor you choose, but I love what you do and how you speak about it. So just give us your.
Well, one of the things I really, and it's been a very successful keynote over the last several months, is called the Shark Mindset.
Yeah.
And I try to point out a lot of real life examples, not stuff you saw on Jaws or, Three-Headed Shark Attack or Sharknado or any of those. But I do try to talk a lot about different real world factors that the way sharks are, marketing teams, sales teams, they love it. It's a very, I'm going to call it kind of killer mindset without the killer stereotype that comes with sharks. It should never have been earned in the first place. It was because Jaws was such a great movie.
Yeah.
Not a shark. It was not a shark documentary. It's, still completely fiction, but some of the shark points that I talk about on stage, depending on the variation of it. One is speed, really being quick to serve customers. People don't want to wait on you to respond to their needs slowly. Jay Bayer and I covered that on the second one of our with his new research that's so good on the CX engine. You can be too fast, and so I sometimes talk about speed. A lot of times I talk about awareness. as somebody that's been on diving trips hundreds of times, not everywhere is going to have a lot of sharks, but sharks are always in the water. You just have to be aware of them.
Yeah.
Some sharks come up, like tiger sharks I was just talking about yesterday. Tiger sharks are fairly well known for, if you're a Seinfeld fan, they kind of sidle up on you. They approach from the back. You can still interact with tiger sharks. It's the largest shark, other than a whale shark, largest predatory shark you can interact with, without without necessarily fearing for your life. Whereas sometimes when you're around a great white, you may not see him come up from the water because they typically live in colder, murkier waters. But awareness is something we have to spend time on, obviously, with whether you're in the water or awareness in business.
Right.
Respect, there's a lot of different things I talk about, humility, but these points that you can learn from in real life and apply it really sort of help motivate and inspire a lot of teams.
Sure.
A lot more animated than I am sitting here, on a stream here, but a lot of the diving examples I show some video of and talk through. And it's usually it's good entertainment for people, because I sort of like to have people just sort of close their eyes and imagine what they being underwater. And, metaphorically speaking, that works well for where a lot of people have been,
right,
both emotionally and in business over the last few years with the pandemic. So, but it is my happy place under the water. It is therapy. It is my getaway. And any time I can get in the water, I always do.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Let's I want to close with this sort of question and topic, and it may take a minute or two.
Batman. Okay.
How's that? Batman.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Batman, damn it. And that is that, how has speaking played a role in the effectiveness of your overall business as a strategist, and obviously speaker is one of your channels, but it's also a potential outreach, whether it's online or offline, and how is that something you recommend to others? This is the Magic on the Mic.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love. I've been speaking for over 2 decades on and off, at mostly been in the corporate environment, but I've done more associations and then a lot of marketing events. The marketing events are great, but I really like being able to deliver a deeper dive, if you will, type message to a lot of corporations. And I think it's always good for somebody like me who's been on the brand side, they've been on the agency side, they've been on the consulting side, they've been an entrepreneur, and pulling different perspectives together to look at problem solving and look at strategy of how to help somebody either grow their personal brand or help grow their corporate brand. I think sometimes we myopically fall into where we spend our whole careers in an agency or our whole careers in a brand. I met somebody just recently that spent 27 years at the same company. You don't see that much anymore, but a lot of people that worked at the company did it. I'm always amazed when you get zeroed in that path. And so anyway, being able to look at those kind of problems helps me at least be able to convey things that align the message, if you will, or help them see the problem from a new perspective, a new way to solve the problem from a new perspective. And I think speaking is fantastic because it again allows me to speak a lot about serving our audiences, the consumers we serve, as opposed to, just a lot of it's my story. I've got a ton of stories, but I do it in the sense to serve others.
Right. Absolutely.
And I don't know that there's anything more rewarding. There is, it's a lot of speaking's a lot of fun, and getting to meet a lot of interesting people and businesses has been just an amazing blessing.
Yep, absolutely. And for me, speaking is like the number one most useful, profitable way to leverage your time as a business marketer. So listen, even as a performer, I used to go and do a 5 to 15 minute or 5 to 50 minute presentation at even the local chamber or Rotary on and say, hey, And my topic was the 3 most amazing ways you can have exciting events guaranteed. And I didn't come, I used my magic, but as a speaker, to give them a sample, you're already instant credibility. You're up in front of the room or on the stage, and you must be the expert. So they give you credit as due. You get to literally create instant, indelible know, like, and trust. People self-identify and they come up to you and ask for more. Like, hey, can you come do that for our group or organization? And what did that cost you? Some sweat equity investment, maybe the capital investment might be some gas or opportunity cost. But other than that, it's free, powerful, the best powerful. What's the best way to prove you can do what you say you can do by, I don't know, doing what you say you can do.
And it also gives people just a little bit of a chance to escape.
That's right.
It's almost, to me, I used to love to go to the movie theater pre-pandemic all the time just to get that sort of 2-hour escape. And speaking is kind of like that. When you get an audience who's receptive and you can really take them through a journey, it's really powerful to see what lifts people up, what inspires people. I watch, audiences react to me. I watch audiences react to other fellow speakers. I love going to see how they react to other fellow speakers. Helps me learn as well and continue to grow. And just to really sort of see how you can help change people's way of thinking, or maybe how they're where they are at that moment in time.
Correct.
And that can be very powerful. Not, sometimes we overthink how complex it just needs to be, but you got to deliver a strong message that can, that makes people remember you, and helps transform them in their lives. And if I can help somebody in that way, I don't know there's anything more rewarding.
Right.
I mean, the benefits of growing the business, absolutely agree, but the reward, emotionally, spiritually, everything else, and then some is worth its weight in gold.
100%. 100%. When you can get up and that people's lives have been transformed in one way, shape, form, or another, you've got them to question their ideas about certain topic or subject, or challenge them. And when they go inside and they go, oh my goodness, maybe this is true, or maybe this is magic. Right. So love it, love it, love it. Dr. Claude Haggerty, the man, the myth, the legend, says great info. Well, of course. What else would you expect?
Exactly.
I mean, come on now, people. Like,
it's not bad for 2 hours of sleep, man. I'm
real.
When I got up early to get here this morning, I was
right. And that's the speaker lifestyle, is traveling, going from plane
to plane. It's a lot of travel.
Yep.
But it's worth it in the end. As long as you make it home to where you need to be, it's worth it.
That's exactly right. How much digital work have you done? Did you do a lot of that during the pandemic?
Oh yeah. I still do a lot of it now.
Yep, that's right.
So I think it's really important to keep your hands dirty too. As whatever field you're in, I don't care if it's basket weaving or Google Analytics. I have to keep my hands dirty in what I teach, preach, and talk about. And if I don't, then I get a little bit of concern, and I never want to go over my skis and talk about subjects I don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Right.
Now, I don't run through, Google Analytics workshops. I just mean really understanding consumers and where they are and how to market to them and sell to them and motivate and change and motivate employees as well. And how to do that. The moment I take myself out of that mix and that bubble, it makes it a less effective keynote. So I try to blend the two with knowledge, with really what's going on now for all of us. Yeah.
And you said the magic word keynote. It's not always just about the keynote. There's before care, during care, and after care.
Yeah.
So that they get all of that. You give them some tools and resources up front, what to expect, and then you train and serve and love and support them from the platform. And then there has to be follow, because no offense, not even Tony Robbins can change their life in 90 minutes or however long you have together, right? So you have to have some implementation strategies and all that before, during, and after care stuff that gives them so they can actually do it. Because if they don't do it, you just
Yeah, Lois Kramer gets a nickel every time we say aftercare too.
Oh, it's been 30 years I've been talking about before, during, and after care. So I love it because care, as you know, is my big brand language. So yeah, but we'll send her a nickel. I'm happy to do that. She's worth it. So
Well, I'll see her. I'll see her at Winter Workshop, and I'll give her a nickel.
okay, all right. I'll
For you.
PayPal it to you now.
All right, there you go. PayPal a nickel. That'd be great. I'd Venmo, and then I'll get 4 cents because
That's right,
to
because
round off
it's
the
30
fee.
cents per transaction, and then
Yeah.
a percentage of each. So it's actually going to be 35 cents. So sorry.
Exactly.
All
right, buddy.
All right. I appreciate you, man. Any closing thoughts, ideas, epiphanies, inspirations, cares, questions, concerns, considerations, boundaries, emotional outbursts?
Be curious.
Yes, sir.
Be fearless, and dive deeper. That's my perspective. It's a tagline I snuck in. Be curious, be fearless, and dive deeper.
Yep. I love that. I love that. Appreciate you so much. Thanks so much. Again, Magic on the mic with the man, the myth, the legend. You know him, you love him. He is Dr. Shark. Dr. Shark in the house. Thanks so much.
All right, buddy. Have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye.